Across the Spider-Verse is one of the best films of 2023. I don't think that's a controversial take if you were to shout that out loud in the middle of a shopping center. People would just stare at you because you're weird. Spider-Verse being great is for a multitude of reasons that include the visuals, storytelling, characters, and the music. Into the Spider-Verse had bigger singles with songs such as Sunflower, but Across the Spider-Verse is a far more cohesive project. It doesn't have that breakout single, yet I find myself listening to this soundtrack regularly. Whenever I hear it, I can visualize the movie, and that speaks volumes to the production for Metro Boomin. One of the standout records from Across the Spider-Verse's soundtrack is Self-Love starring Coi Leray. Now, I'm not a big Coi Leray fan, but I did enjoy this record, and I believe sometimes she gets ragged on a little too hard by social media. That was actually what my first video on this channel was about.
That's random.
To my surprise, Coi Leray recently dropped a new album titled Coi, and since I enjoyed Self-Love, I figured I'd give this project a fair shot, especially since social media was clowning her for only selling 10,000 records on the first week. That does not mean your album is bad. It could just be a lack of marketing. So let's start off by discussing the album art. Album artwork is important because it gives us more insight into the artist's thought process. For Coi, Miss Leray went with a simplistic design. She chose to squat over a minimalist white backdrop while sporting minimal clothing. This minimal white backdrop allows your eyes to focus on the talent it requires Coi Leray to have when she's in this squatting position looking like she's holding in the biggest fart. The bow wrapped around her left thigh is a metaphor. She's trying to tell the world she thinks this album is a gift, but I can't stress enough that the key word in that previous statement is that she thinks it's a gift. Moving up, her chest is covered by a custom medallion that looks like it's holding the image of one of the generic vampires from one of 2023's biggest flops, Redfall. And of course, she's sporting a bob haircut because she hopes you bob your head to her music, but once again, I can't stress enough that the key word in that previous statement is that she hopes. And the cherry on top is this lovely album cover is all complemented by a multicolored popsicle gradient and a generic font that looks like it was ripped straight from someone's MySpace page. Jokes aside, let's talk about the music. Coi is a 16-song project with a 38-minute runtime. Now, you might be wondering how that's possible, seeing as 16 songs is a lot, but that's thanks to the fact that the average runtime for a song on this album is 2 minutes. There are a handful of songs that are less than that too, and only one song that's 3 minutes, which is the longest, by the way. Basically, don't expect any well thought out second verses, let alone a third. I'm gonna go out on a whim and state that I don't like this album at all. Coi Leray, like many other recent artists featured on XXL's most recent freshman list, lacks direction. Coi isn't an album, it's more of a collection of singles. Singles that are so obviously designed to try and go viral on TikTok that it's cringy. The most disappointing thing about this all is that Coi Leray, she can actually rap. She's got a great voice, she's got charisma, and she can ride a beat. What she lacks is someone in her camp that can sit her down and say, okay, who is Coi Leray? This project would have been better served as a mixtape or an EP. Then everyone, including myself, would have judged it as so. When you make an album, it's expected to be a cohesive project that displays the best traits of an artist. It's baffling that this album is self-titled, and I couldn't tell you anything about Coi Leray other than that she's this self-proclaimed boss babe. That's such a generic message, by the way, that every other rapper is doing, not to mention that's all you've done on previous other projects. This works for the album, but if you're gonna call it an album, I'm gonna need a little bit more meat on the bone. That being said, there are some positives here. She's got some bangers on the album that I can easily see appearing in a sports video game such as Madden or NBA 2K. Songs like Bop, Get Loud, and Black Rose. I think this is a great lane for her, but if she were to take that anthem lane, I just want to see those be released as singles so she can work them over time, because an album full of anthems, it just doesn't sound good. You start to sound like DJ Khaled. The rest of the album is an unorganized mess. The biggest offense to me is the overuse of samples. Her producers didn't even provide any type of clever flips on said samples. It's those type of samples where it's blatantly obvious they're trying to use nostalgia to bait people into liking the song. Songs like Make My Day, it samples the classic 1989 song Pump Up the Jam. The producers literally did nothing with the original beat but slightly slowed it down. And to add insult to injury, David Guetta, or Greta, however you pronounce his name, he's credited as a feature on the song. I don't know what he added to the song. I don't know if he produced it, but I didn't hear his, I don't know. It felt like a marketing play. People will see his name and then they're gonna assume greatness, and I'm here to let you know you shouldn't. Then there's the lead single Players, which samples Grandmaster Flash's The Message. Once again, they didn't do much with that beat, but I guess this is a cool little song. I'm sure you've already heard it because it's all over the radio and TikTok. But the biggest offender is track 5, titled My Body. Now, she flips Leslie Gore's classic record, It's My my party, I can cry if I want to. She takes that song and she flips it into it's my body, I can F who I want to, which, you know, that's true. I don't disagree, but I don't know, maybe because I'm not the demographic, but I found this song to be next level tacky. It felt like she was trying to create the summer anthem for feminists, but it comes across as pandering, like she's trying too hard. I just can't see a world where anyone is riding around with their windows down blasting, it's my body, I can F who I want to. Boo! But the most jarring thing about this album is track 13 titled Man's World. She flips yet another classic record in the form of James Brown's It's a Man's World. And I'm genuinely shocked the Brown estate greenlit this song because it's not good. And if you listen to Coi, clearly she doesn't understand the original song. The original song clearly states this is a man's world, but it would be nothing, I repeat, nothing without a woman. Her version is some corny, toxic Gen Z version that totally misses the point of the sample. The nostalgia baits you in, but she fumbles the ball again and again all throughout this album because she's taking beloved records and she's making them worse. So allow me to save you some time. It's no way in my right mind I could recommend you listening to this full project. Just do yourself a favor and give Bops and Players a listen if you haven't heard that song already. This album is a hard skip. Coi Leray did the impossible with this project. She produced an album where half the album contains features and the other half of the album contains samples from classic records, yet hardly any of the songs are longer than 2 minutes, which makes no sense considering you stole inspiration from other songs. If that's not someone who reeks of direction, then I don't know what is. I really need Coi to stop chasing TikTok viral moments and sit down and think about what she wants to present to the world. Pick a direction and stick to it. I defended Coi Leray the last time I talked about her in a video, and if you want to see why, then click the card right here. But I'm gonna be honest, I really need her to step it up because she's got me out here looking crazy for defending her. But hey, I'm just saying.